Okay.
Yeah, too bad it wasn't us.
Good evening. This is the meeting of the Villa Park Environmental Concerns Commission, and today is April 24th, 2025, and the time is 7:03, and I'm going to call the roll. Commissioner Leishman.
Present?
Commissioner Smith.
Present.
Commissioner Figueroa.
Present.
Commissioner Amore.
Present.
Commissioner Greco.
Present.
Commissioner Wagner, I am present as well, and we've established that we have a quorum. And we have 3 guests present in the room. We have Adam Hoover from NIMEC, which is the Northern Illinois Municipal Energy Collaborative.
Yep.
Correct. He's going to speak to us about community solar and about electrical aggregation, and hopefully he'll tell us a little bit how the community is doing. And I apologize, I don't remember your name.
Molly Cars.
Molly Carr, and Karcz.
Yep.
And we have our esteemed and venerable village
Yes.
clerk, Hosanna Korniecki. And Hosanna is here to swear in Commissioner Amore and Commissioner Greco for an additional term. So I'm gonna,
Commissioner Smith, because Commissioner Greco already took care of it.
oh, okay, and, Commissioner
Okay.
Smith, I apologize.
Yes, I
Okay.
took care of them at the 6 o'clock meeting before it started.
Okay.
I'm ready for you.
Oh, sure. I limp over. Sorry.
Just go by Bob over here, right by the chairman. Okay, I'll swear her in right now. If you please raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your name.
Lynn Smith,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
Do you want
and
to,
the
or do you want me
Constitution
to
of the
take the
State of
notes?
Illinois,
And to
And then
faithfully
you can
perform
just
the
write them out.
duties
and to faithfully
What's
perform
easier
the
for you?
duties
as Commissioner with the Environmental
okay.
Concerns Commission
Then
as
I will
Commissioner with the
sit back
Environmental
and watch the
Concerns
meeting.
to
Thank
the
you.
best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations on
Thank
your
you.
reappointment.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Did you do yours already?
Yeah, I was here.
Oh.
She came at 6 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we're gonna move on to public comments on agenda items. Any okay, no comments from the public. Amendments to the agenda. Are there any amendments to the agenda? I will make one comment. Ray Hoving, who is the general manager for Salt Creek Sanitary District, last cycle, they submitted, through the, I'm gonna say the intercession of Congressman Sean Casten, they were on a list for a community funding project for the Phase 7 project at the Salt Creek Sanitary District. Community funding projects used to be called earmarks, but it went by the wayside. But there's another opportunity for them to do that, and they're looking for letters of support. And I'll just say briefly, the Phase 7 project for the district would make the process more efficient and would replace some aging infrastructure at the district. So I'd entertain a motion. Okay, Commissioner Leishman?
I move that we add an item 5J to the agenda to discuss a letter of support for the Phase 7 project at Salt Creek Sanitary District.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second that, please.
Okay. Any discussion?
Is this gonna be a letter from the commission, or are you asking for individual letters from each of the commissioners?
It would be a letter from the commission. And and I apologize, I can send this out to everybody, but it just, I think we did it before. It's just a letter saying we support the efforts of the Salt Creek Sanitary District to Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So that will be item J. Okay, any other amendments to the agenda? Okay, seeing none, I'm gonna move on to our consent agenda. Approval of the meeting minutes from March 27th, 2025. And Commissioner Draconis had sent those out, I think, a couple weeks ago. I did pass along to her one small change. One was about the name for Justine. She had Justin Briers, and I said it's actually Justine Briers. And then she didn't, there was discussion about folks going to Senator Glowiak's office, and I said her name is, she goes by Senator Susie Hilton Glowiak.
Glowiak Hilton.
Glowiak Hilton, that's right. So those are the only things that I saw. Pretty small. Commissioner Moore.
Okay, on the minutes from the March meeting, on item
We
5.
need to have a motion to discuss this.
Oh, okay.
Right, yeah, so we need a motion.
Well, I was talking about wanting to make,
But, so we need to go to, before we go to discussion, we need a motion.
I move that we approve the minutes.
Okay, is there a second?
Go ahead, Lynn.
Second
I
by
second.
Commissioner Smith. Okay, discussion.
well, before I approve the minutes, I wanted to find out a couple of items. Now, I may not have an updated copy, but on 5B, under the Green Champion Award, it gave 4 X's instead of an amount of money for the dollar amount. It's for the creation of for the purchase of the Green Champion Award. So I wanted to find out if an amount had been determined so that it could be included in the minutes. And then the second thing was on item 5J under Banner's Yard side, there's 9 zeros before the Commissioner Jerkanis.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
Second sentence in 5J, I wanted to make an amendment to delete the zeros in front of Commissioner Jerkanis' name. It seems to be a typo.
Okay.
It's more than 5, it's actually like 9.
Yeah, I wanted to discuss. I noticed the same things. I think I'm guessing that Commissioner Draconis left those X's in there for the dollar amount. I don't think we would have moved without a dollar amount specified.
I think we had a not to exceed dollar amount.
Yes.
So what we could do is, if we want to table this and just bring it back for our May meeting when we can fill those in and make those corrections.
Yeah. Can we?
Can we make a motion?
Question about the rules here. Can we move to table even though we have a motion?
Since you made the motion, you can make a motion to table it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll move to table it then.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll
Table it?
second that.
Table, okay. All those in favor of tabling approval of the March 27th meeting minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna move on to our business portion of our meeting. Item 5A, report of the Bike, Pedestrian, and Transit Subcommittee. Commissioner Leishman.
Thank you, Chairman Wagner. So tonight, our big topic of discussion was Bike Month 2025, which, if you're not aware, Bike Month happens every year in May. So we've got a handful of different events that we're doing this year. On May 7th, which is National Walk/Roll to School Day, we'll be helping out with North School's celebration of the event. So in previous years, this has basically just been what's called a walking bus from Jefferson Pool up to North School. And we provide, kind of some chaperones to make sure that kids make it there safely. If you're interested in helping that morning, please reach out. We're looking for volunteers. It's not a super long time commitment, and it's a lot of fun.
This is Commissioner Smith. I'm sorry, can you repeat the date again?
Yeah, it's May 7th.
At what time?
I believe it is normally around 7:30 a.m. I will.
Day.
It should be a Wednesday,
It's Wednesday, yeah.
but I will double check the time and let you know.
Okay.
But it is early that morning. Then the second event that we have for Bike Month is a smart cycling class, which will be happening on the 10th of May. That's a Saturday. Chairman Wagner is our local league certified instructor, and so he'll be leading that initiative. Basically just teach some kids how to ride their bike safely. Is there anything you wanted to comment about that?
No, just that we've done it a number of times, and was pleased to note that there's a little kind of a comment of encouragement or praise from a parent whose child went through a smart cycling class. So hopefully we'll get, hopefully we'll have a large number of kids. So
Great.
and it'll be at Jefferson Pool parking lot.
Yeah, and we will. I will definitely advertise for that event during walk/roll to school day, because you can tell the kids they'll be right here in 3 days' time. We'll be having the class, so hopefully we can get some more students that way as well. Then on the 21st of May is the National Ride of Silence at 7 p.m. If you haven't participated in the past, it is a slow roll bike ride around town in memorial for all of the cyclists that have died in traffic collisions in the last year. So we ride around slowly, we have a police escort, and we wear signs to try and bring attention to how important it is to keep cyclists safe on the road. So that'll be meeting outside Village Hall, or actually at the police station, right across from Village Hall. Probably meet around 6:30 p.m. and then leave at 7 p.m. It's not a very long ride. It's not a very fast ride, but I do think it's a pretty moving experience to be a part of. So that's all of our Bike Month initiatives. Then the other thing that we discussed tonight was Project Sidewalk. A resident in town here, Laura Leishman, who happens to be my wife, organized a mapathon for Project Sidewalk earlier in the month. And I was able to participate as a resident. It was a good time. We had about 12 people show up, including some high schoolers. So thank you to Commissioner Figueroa for helping getting the message out. And we were able to map out about 20% of Villa Park in one day. Yeah, we're probably going to do another event later in the summer so that we can hopefully map all of Villa Park. But we'll see. Otherwise, the website is still active, so if you're interested in contributing, please reach out. It's a fun little game that you can play that helps the community. And yeah, those are the big things that we discussed tonight.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Leishman. Okay, we're going to move on to item 5B. Presentation from Adam Hoover of NIMEC on community solar and electrical aggregation.
Yep.
The floor is yours.
Perfect. Well, my name's Adam Hoover. I think I was here, I don't know, 2-3 years ago now. I wonder when it was.
Yeah.
Anyway.
A while ago, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm the energy consultant for the village. My father started our company. We've been working with Villa Park for 10 plus years now. The number one thing we do with you all is help find rates that are lower than ComEd for the power and the streetlight. I was here 2-3 years ago to talk about community solar. If you're unfamiliar, community solar is a program that is sponsored by the state of Illinois, and the state of Illinois' goal to be 100% renewable by 2050. So in short, you can support solar energy by not needing to install solar panels, and you can get 10% or 20% or some sort of percentage off on your bill. And so when I was here 2-3 years ago, I was trying to encourage it for residents. I still do. 2-3 years ago, it was 20% off. It's now lowered to 10% off. But there are still plenty of suppliers that are getting 10% off. I've mentioned it to Bob and Matt before that now we can also start getting the village's own power bills, not residents, but the ones that the village pays for. We can also, participate in that. So I think there's going to be some interest there. But I just wanted to make you aware of it. I also just want to re-encourage that anyone you know, I would encourage them to sign up for community solar. There's really no downside. You may have to pay 2 bills now, but they're trying to make it to 1. But in short, if you are okay with paying 2 bills, you're going to get 10% off your bill, and you're going to be supporting solar energy in Illinois. So just think it's a good program. Any questions about community solar or? Yeah.
How does that work in an apartment or condo or multifamily housing?
Yeah, whoever pays the ComEd bill can sign up, and the beauty of it is that there are no, Illinois made it so there's no early termination fees. So let's say you move in 5 years from now. I mean, I'm assuming that person would be paying the ComEd bill. So whoever's paying the ComEd bill is the one that gets so if it's the apartment owner. And so let's say they move in 5 years. My cousin lives in an apartment in Chicago. She signed up, and when she moves out, she's not going to be in that apartment for long. And when she moves out, she's going to cancel it, and no harm, no foul, and she's just going to receive. She's getting 20% off on it. So, yeah. So the beauty of it's the no termination. So they'll give you a contract, and it may even say 15 or 20 years, but in the fine print by state law, you as a resident have the ability to leave at any point. Yes.
So, you don't have solar panels,
Correct.
and how do you sign up for it?
So I would go to the Citizen Utility Board website. I'll give you, and I can send this to Bob afterwards if he wants it. But if you Google Citizen Utility Board plus community solar, they'll give you everything you need to know. I think in Illinois, don't quote me on this, but I think there's 5 or 6 companies that are offering it. My only thing I would tell you to look for is to make sure you're getting around 10% off. It's kind of the competitive market right now. It used to be 20, and who knows, maybe, I haven't seen it, but maybe some are offering 7 or 5%. You want to try to get 10%.
So your company doesn't deal with solar panels at all?
No. No, we don't do any of that.
Got it. So what do you say when someone's like, okay, this is I'm talking like my husband would talk. This is a little fishy, I don't know about switching, it's not common.
Are you talking about community solar or solar
Yes.
panels?
No.
Oh,
Community solar.
so this is why
You
it's,
must hear that, right?
yeah, this is why community solar is a beautiful thing because I live in Chicago, small town home, don't have a lot of space. And we are supporting solar energy. I can't say I'm creating it. Illinois gets the credits, or if you're familiar with it, the RECs. And so I think the kicker of that is, well, do you like 10% off your bill? Even people who don't support renewable energy should support this program because you're going to save, $100 a year. So it's, in my opinion, that's what I would say to it. And you would still pay ComEd. You just might also have to pay another supplier. But in all, and look, I'm not selling you anything because I don't make any money off of it. In all, you're just getting 90% of your bill. You're paying 90% of the bill. So
Got it.
It's just a good program. I don't think people know about it enough. So
This Commissioner Smith, so what percentage of the population that's eligible is signed up for the program now?
I don't know the answer, but I'm going to say 2%. Everyone's eligible. And if you know anyone who's low income, they can get 50% off. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Illinois has run it, in my opinion, very well. They made sure residents had the first dibs, and now they're opening it up to bigger users, and that's why I've talked to Matt a little bit about, Villa Park should sign up for it and receive 10% off your, you guys aren't huge users with your power bills, but still 10% off is 10% off, plus you're supporting solar energy.
Yeah.
People do not know about it, so I would say very little. Availability is an issue, so sometimes there's a waiting list, and that might throw some people off, and you sign up, and then you get on the wait list, and then 6 months later, they're like, hey, we're ready for you, enter your credit card information, and people get the heebie-jeebies and forget about it and all that stuff, so there are some issues when it comes to signing up, but like I said, I got nothing to make off of this, and I'm just telling you it's a good program. It's just great.
Commissioner Leishman.
Didn't we have an opt-in program,
opt-out.
An opt-out program
That
a
is
couple
the-
years ago?
That's
That is-
aggregation.
And that's my next thing that we help with.
Okay.
So Joy Hins had sent something out about community solar. Joy Hins, she's works for the county, I don't know if you know Joy
Okay,
Hins.
yeah,
So basically, there's some large scale communities, there's some large scale solar
farms, yep.
farm that were kind of,
They're being built everywhere, probably more rural areas. If you,
Right.
I went to, I don't know, somewhere in Wisconsin, and you drive out a little bit farther out, you'll see many of them. And even towns, Chicago Heights and Waukegan, other towns you work with are getting approached to build it. I mean, it's just, kind of gets to your question, is that there needs to be more solar fields to support this. So they're being built quickly.
Yeah. I know of the big one on 55 corridor between Chicago and St. Louis.
I don't know which one, I'm sure there's many of them.
Yeah, I just noticed it from the highway. Yeah.
So any other questions about community solar before I get to the opt-out aggregation program?
so in terms of community solar, how do folks,
Sign up.
is there a deadline for making that decision?
No. The sooner you get on, the sooner you get on a wait list. Most people have to be on a wait list. My theory is that, this was really popular 2-3 years ago. Like everyone who was really onto it and aware of it signed up. And I think the interest has died down, but more solar fields are being made. So I think the wait lists are probably dwindling a little bit. But I would recommend if MC Squared and Solstice would be some websites I would recommend. They'll be on the Citizens Utility Board website, but MC Squared and Solstice are two that I know and trust. And I've used Solstice I'm on it 3 or 4 years now, and I have no issues. So.
And I sent everyone Adam's presentation.
Yeah, I have a copy.
Perfect. I'm gonna read it off my phone a little bit just because there's some
Okay.
stats on there.
Yeah.
I'm glad you have it.
Did you need this?
No, I appreciate it. I have it on my
Oh,
phone.
okay.
That is so sweet of you. I appreciate that.
So, can you briefly describe the mechanics for becoming part of community solar?
Yeah, so you would go to a website, and honestly, it's as simple as having your account and Choice ID, which you can find on your ComEd bill. ComEd has now switched from not only having account numbers, but to Choice IDs as kind of the key number. That's on the second page of your bill if you can't find it, Choice ID. And they're just gonna ask you a couple questions. It really will probably take you 10 minutes to sign up, and you have to upload a bill for some websites. I don't know if that's the case for all 5 places, that I recommended, but have a bill ready. And then my guess is you would sign up, and then within 6 months, you would probably be enrolled and start seeing credits. You would get one bill, like I get one bill currently from ComEd, and that's where I'm paying, I don't want to confuse you with all the details, but that's where I'm getting a pretty good discount. I actually get the 90% discount there, or I get the 100% of the discount there, but I owe 90% of that discount to Solstice. So
I didn't quite hear what you said.
So on my ComEd bill, I actually get 100% of the solar discount, which isn't mine. I only get 10% of that discount. So then my second bill, I have to pay Solstice the other 90%. In actuality, I'm that 10% short, and that's where I receive my own savings. So ComEd charges you for everything, and like I said, they're trying to consolidate that for residents. I think very soon it'll just be one bill, but right now, I pay ComEd and I pay Solstice, but I can guarantee you I'm getting 10% off, so.
So are you basically just paying ComEd for transmission at that point?
Yeah, and it's a little bit more than that. You're paying more for the supply.
Okay.
It's still more than that. So my bills were like $70, $80 traditionally, and now they're about $60 or $70. It's about $10 off for me, and I'm a 3-bedroom household in Chicago. Normal usage, nothing out of the ordinary. Actually, I shouldn't tell that my wife uses the dishwasher a lot. But you get the idea. It's about $10 off. So months change, but I can work with that.
And I believe that Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus had made a
Yep.
recommendation that communities participate in community solar.
Yep.
We recommended it to the village
Yep.
board, and there wasn't an opportunity.
It's just, like, what do you do? So 3 years ago, we talked about sending mailers to residents.
Right.
We did it with a couple of times. We did it with Hazelcrest. I don't mind giving you their story. And Hazelcrest had so many low-income residents that were eligible to 50% off. So that's where it was like a double win.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you know any low-income residents, it's a no-brainer. And we just got, I think, 2% of the population to sign up after setting up. So then the suppliers are like, it's not worth our money to do this. And it's just hard to get people to fulfill that. And that's why, like I said, I'm just hoping we can spread the word. That's just a good program.
Sorry, Commissioner Smith, has it been on the, like, local news? Like,
I don't know. I don't
Or
think so.
or in-
I don't know why Pritzker isn't pushing it more. I mean, I hate to say it, so how is he funding it? We're all being taxed on it on our ComEd bill, you know, so it's not like, my theory is if I'm being taxed on it, I might as well get the discount, you know, minus the renewable aspects of it. So I don't know, but yeah, it's all, you know, Illinois is gonna have, they are saying, hey, look at how much renewable energy we purchased.
yeah.
And so I'm sure they've bragged about that, and they're gonna brag about it more and more. And my theory is if
Incentives.
Pritzker ever makes a big national run, he's gonna talk about it, you know? I'm gonna try to take the fruits of that labor and try to take about it. So I don't know why, it's a good question.
Commissioner Moore.
Commissioner Roy, so, earlier in the week, there was a news story
Oh,
about
Oh.
Chicago has
oh,
a
there,
giant solar field downstate, and they're using that to offset.
they
the
made a
power
deal with
usage.
Constellation, yeah.
Yeah, they use it, like the Jardine water filtration plant, and most
They
of the
did.
city infrastructure is covered by that.
I don't wanna bore you with details, but they did what a lot of data centers are doing, and I don't know if you know, but data centers take up so much energy.
Right.
My favorite stat right now is a ChatGPT or OpenAI, whatever, one of your AIs, an AI research, a query, takes 9 times more electricity than a normal Google search. So all these AI searches that people are doing, is actually really hurting, you know, no matter where you're getting this energy from, but, so a lot of these Googles and Microsofts in the city of Chicago are buying their own solar fields to power their own data center, whereas the city of Chicago is doing the entire city, so.
And the land that they put this on used to be a soybean. It
Oh,
used to be a soybean farm.
Interesting.
Yeah, so,
It used to be what?
soybeans, they grew soybeans there, so now they farm electricity.
All right, so community solar, and I can leave my card here if you have other questions,
I'll
or,
take it.
yeah, if you just have questions about power, or more importantly, just like, hey, is this a good place to sign up, or, I'd love to be a resource, so, I'll give you 2 and pass it around here. Yeah, if anyone
And
else-
this is Commissioner Wagner, what I envision is,
Sorry.
the, whomever is the next chairperson would put this on the agenda for the commission to make some sort of
Anybody else want?
recommendation.
Yeah, I mean, that would go a long way.
Ellen?
Right,
The way we've done it with our towns is kind of have, like, if we could have the village board sign a resolution, or not a resolution,
Thank you.
yeah, a resolution that says, hey, we give Matt, or I hear you guys have a new mayor, we give someone on the staff the ability to execute a contract without having to bring it back to the board. That would just kind of put you guys on top of the list. Doesn't mean you get, like, you know, wouldn't commit Matt to signing a contract, but when we get availability, we could come to you guys right away and say, hey, here's a contract from XYZ developer. You can pounce on that right away. Once again, you wouldn't be committed to signing it. But if Matt looked at it, or whoever looked at it and was like, this is all good, you could just execute it right away, instead of going to the committee of the whole, discussing it, and going to the board, discussing it, and then getting, you know, we know that sometimes it takes months to get signatures done, so. That would be my recommendation, but
okay.
I'm here to be a resource. All right, so the next thing is community, or aggregation. Is that, any more questions about community solar before I move on? All right, so I'll look at my phone for a little bit of these statistics here. So 2 years ago, I presented here and kind of introduced you guys a little bit about municipal aggregation. I will be openly transparent. I was recommending the price match program, which is a program that residents would be paying the exact same as the ComEd rate. No change to residents, no cost, no savings, still billed by ComEd, and in turn you would receive 5% of the town's energy would be renewable. I went 2 weeks later, I went to the board meeting and I presented the 2 options, and there's another option of a fixed rate program that costs more than the ComEd rate, but is 100% renewable energy. After 30 minutes of discussion, the village board actually moved forward with that program. So the program you guys had is a rate of 7.89 cents for 2 years with 100% renewable energy. So I'll just go through the positives of it and then the negatives of it, and then we'll go through each one. Oh, and if you're not familiar with municipal aggregation, what it does, it's a voter-approved referendum. So in 2012, voters approved to run a program.
At 2013.
2013, thank
Right.
you. And in short, it says the city can kind of group together all the residents and say, hey, we can go to purchase your electricity on your behalf. From 2013 to 2020, we used to be able to save residents money, and that's the no-brainer. If If I can come in here and say, hey, the ComEd rate's 8 cents, we got a deal at 6 cents, let's do that, let's make money and everyone's happy. In 2020, that switched and we could no longer find savings and we could only offer the programs like I mentioned before. If someone has solar, if someone has a different supplier, or if someone's on the ComEd hourly program, they are not included in the program. They receive a letter that says, hey, there is a program going on, but you have to take an extra step to participate. If someone was on ComEd with this fixed rate program that you guys ran, they were automatically moved over and they had the ability to opt out if they didn't want to, but they would have to take an extra step to opt out. Any resident, and I want to repeat this, any resident at any time can opt in or out of the program with no penalties or no fees. So if someone opted out 2 years ago, they can opt back in. But to be clear and very frank and transparent, and Matt was here, he would say the same thing. We don't, the reaction to that was a little negative to some extent. Residents, and I can understand this, were like, why are you opting us into a program that's going to cost us more money? And so that was some of the reaction. So let me get into the program and then the renewal options. So the program was at 7.89 cents. That is over 32 million kilowatt hours of renewable energy. And there's about 3,600 homes participating. To put this in perspective of how much renewable energy this program created, it's in the PowerPoint, but it's 2,900 gasoline-powered cars driven for 1 year. And once again, you guys have done this for 2 years. 33 million miles driven by a car. You guys are 17th in the nation and 3rd in the state when it comes to the amount of renewable energy created by a town. So to me, that is a great deal. The amount of renewable energy is significant. You're creating more than Elmhurst and bigger towns around you, but you guys are 3rd in the state of Illinois, and I kind of think you guys might be 2nd because the people in 3rd haven't renewed their program, so I don't know, but I don't want to, it's not my business. If you're curious, your solar farm, or your wind farm was in North Dakota, and that's where you guys purchased your 32 million kilowatt hours. So those are the good things. The amount of renewable energy, I just want to reiterate, is a wildly significant amount. Out of the 140 communities NIMAC works with in ComEd territory, you guys are the 2nd most amount of renewable energy created. The downsides of the program is if you did not opt out of the program and you participated in it, it cost about I should do the math on this, it's $200 over 2 years. So about $10 a month would be my guess. The good news, I hate to say this, but in June there's going to be a price spike in the ComEd rate, and your fixed rate will actually be good all the way through October. So from June, July, August, September, your rate will be lower than the ComEd rate, so that $200 might lower. And I made an estimate on here, and I don't want you to quote me on this, but I think it's going to be around $140, $130 extra that it costs residents over 2 years, just to be clear.
Could I ask a favor, Adam?
Yeah.
Could you move over to here because we're recording the meeting and I think you're going to be heard better.
Can I better hear where we're
Right there,
right there.
yeah. And also I'm going to hear you better.
Great.
That's very good.
Yeah, so an estimate that I can't say yet because we don't know what's happening in October, but it's going to be around $130, $140 extra dollars if you participate in the program. Any questions about that before I get into renewals? So with renewals, you guys have the same 2 options again. You have a 100% renewable energy option that's around 10.8 cents for 2 years or 10.3 cents for 1 year. That's going to be higher than the ComEd rate for sure for the next year. Who knows what it would look like 2 years from now? I just don't want to sit here. I just will tell you it's going to be more expensive to run. You could then, the other renewable option or renewal option is you could go back to the price match program, which is where residents would pay the same as ComEd. There would be no savings, no extra cost, and residents would only, you guys would only create 5% renewable energy. So your 100% would drop down to 5%.
Wow.
But it wouldn't cost residents the extra, whatever that number was, 150. If you renew the fixed rate, I think this is important, just kind of my own personal opinion. If you renew the fixed rate program, because you guys went through the hard part, in my opinion, of 2 years ago, letters went out, people were frustrated. A lot of people liked it, I want to be clear, but there were just people that were frustrated. Those people who opted out are already opted out of this program again. So if you were like, man, I hate this program, how could the village cost me more money? In this next program, you will only receive a letter that informs you of the program, but you do not need to take an extra step. If you are already in the program, you will remain in the program. It's more of a letter that informs you. So in my opinion, the communication will be easier. We also have residents that are super, who are really angry. We permanently opt them out. I think you guys have a list of 5 or 6 residents who I'm sure you guys even know who they are, without even mentioning it. And we don't even include them ever in a program. Even if it saved them money, we wouldn't include them in a program because they give us a hard time. So I think what Matt and I realized is we kind of went to the board 2 years ago and we kind of said, hey, here's option 1, price match program. And they kind of reversed to us and went to option 2, which the fixed rate program, which I think is admirable. I think it's really cool, honestly. But I don't think, and Matt would agree, we didn't get enough, there was no real, you had a couple environmental committee members there on the board, but I don't think there was a strong opinion from the environmental team that said, hey, we really think X, Y, Z, whatever you guys think. And so we have till July 10th really to make a decision and get a board approved and like I said, all the things that go into board approval. But I think before we go to the board, I think it would be helpful if the environmental team had a strong opinion on it. Maybe not strong, but just whatever your opinion is, and that way you could vocalize that to the board.
Am I allowed to ask a question?
Maybe
not, never mind.
I'll entertain.
You got my
I'll
card.
entertain, go ahead.
I'm just trying
Why
to.
don't you
'cause I-
identify yourself so for the.
Molly Cars. I'm just trying to figure it out because I don't know that much about it. So 100%, if you opted in, 100% was renewable.
If you didn't opt out.
Right.
So
Oh,
so
yeah.
so I'd say about 70%, 3,600 homes is the number. Are creating renewable energy.
Got it.
Yep.
And then if they go down to the other program, it'll be 5%.
Correct. So really, because it doesn't include big buildings, anything over a McDonald's or a barber shop isn't automatically included in the program. Like if you have a car dealership or a restaurant, they likely aren't included because but state law doesn't allow us to include them. So the total amount of energy, it's on the EPA's website. I think you guys are around 50% of the entire renewable energy. But 100% of all eligible accounts are creating renewable energy.
Just, Mr. Leishman, go ahead.
So why are these the only 2 options? Because 100% renewable energy versus 5% renewable energy, those seem like 2.
Because of the cost. Because there's such a big difference in the cost. If you want the supplier to do this in a way that makes it eligible and profitable for them, in option 1, the fixed rate that you're currently doing, the cost is on the resident. I just want to be very frank about it. I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. And so doing that times 3,600 homes, that's a big cost. And so to do that, that's kind of what makes the most sense.
So why is it affordable to have 5% renewable on the supplier side?
Yeah.
Is that just infrastructure that already exists?
So they're creative about it. They're the only supplier that offers it. Other suppliers right now offer that fixed rate program. None is lower than the rates that I showed you. So MC squared's the best right now. But in this other program, the price match program, I'm going to get in a little weeds here. What they do is they selectively choose residents, who they want to move over and who they don't. In the fixed rate program, by state law, anyone who's on ComEd that, like I said, didn't have those 3 options, they're automatically moved over. In the price match program, what they're going to do is I use an example with my wife all the time. I'm into electricity, I study all the day. I know that I don't want to start my dishwasher till midnight, and I don't want to do the laundry till midnight and all that stuff. My wife is at home, she's probably at home right now, blasting the AC and not opening windows. If we lived in 2 different houses, she would be expensive to serve. Everyone has their individual. She would cost 12 cents to serve. I would be an efficient user. I would cost 5 cents to serve. We both are being charged 7 cents right now. What MC squared does is they go study and they say, oh, we want to move Adam over, but we're going to leave his wife over there with ComEd. Both of us still being charged the same rate. So that's why it's not like there's 2 groups of haves and have-nots. It doesn't matter. But that is how they do it to make a profit on it. So they do a creative study to figure out a way to make that price. That is not what's currently happening. That's in the price match program.
This is Commissioner Wagner. So if we have, whatever it is, 3,671 homes participating, we have roughly about 7,000 households in the community.
Yeah, so I would say 20% of them, I'm estimating, I don't have these numbers in front of me, but I would say 20% of them are have solar, have a different supplier, or are on the hourly program, so they're automatically not included. And I'd say
Right.
another 20 to 30% opted out of the program.
Opted out, okay.
Make,
Essentially, we're buying renewable energy credits, correct?
Yep.
And we have to kind of go a little bit far afield to get available renewable energy credits.
Yep, PJM market, that's the market that the grid we're all on. In
Right.
short, we can borrow energy from Illinois, can borrow it from Virginia. In case there's a blackout in ComEd territory, we can pull from Southern Illinois. Anyway, is the most expensive renewable energy right now because there's a lot of states like Illinois. Like if Illinois has renewable energy, the state of Illinois is most likely to buy it. So they're making, it's like New Jersey's like that, and Pennsylvania, all who's in our grid, Virginia. So since there are so many states who are trying to purchase renewable energy, our grid is very, very expensive, where they can purchase renewable energy in North Dakota at a cheaper rate. They wouldn't even offer the price match program if you wanted Illinois RECs. It's just not feasible.
Commissioner Leishman.
So if we, I guess in either option, is the state law still the same where, there has to be a letter that goes out to everyone and there's an opt-out program
Yep.
in both cases?
Yep.
So I guess like my concern, obviously I'm on the Environmental Concerns Commission. I'm in favor of renewable energy, save the planet, whatever. But my concern is, last time we went through this, messaging from the village was not great.
Correct.
And so people, and honestly, we on the Environmental Concerns Commission, this was right around the time that I was starting with the commission. And so we were, tabling at events around the community and, talking to people and, people were complaining on Facebook about getting this letter from scammers saying that, they're trying to steal money with this electrical aggregation program because no one understood what it was because there was no official messaging from the village until after the fact.
Yeah.
And so my concern is if we go through this process again, we're not going to be in a situation where people are opting out. We're not going to be in a situation where those 3,600 people stay. We're going to be in a situation where another 20% of that 3,600 drop out.
If you went to the price match.
Either way is my concern.
Oh, I would disagree with that. So, and I see your point, because you're saying people are going to be confused again, and then they're going to opt out again, and then we're going to have that. I get what you're saying. In my experience, two things. When people, the more you do this, the more those letters do not become as confusing, and people understand what they are. The second thing is the fact that we would already opt out, those people have already opted out, in my opinion, as someone who deals with a lot of the calls and dealt with a lot of the residents, because I come here and I tell the staff, they have my cell phone number. I talked to 2 residents from different states or different programs today. So they'll call me directly. Once they're opted out once, it is so much easier because they're just the people who don't like the program are done. And now they're just informed and now they don't care. Oh, I'm not doing anything, I don't care. Where you guys have gone, that's what I'm saying, you guys have gone through the hard part. You kind of have weeded out the people that are going to be frustrated by this, and then, in my opinion, you've kind of have the people that are saying, hey, we kind of support this because we didn't opt out. I don't know if you want to make that argument that they support, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can make the argument that they support this by not opting out. And so I think you've gone through the hard part. So I would assume, based on statistics, that you would have 5% opt out, where before you had 20 to 25% opt out. I think this time it'd only be 3 to 7%.
Question about the civic grant.
Yeah.
So this is the village receives
So cash.
$1,500 a month.
Yeah, 18,000. That is if you do not take. So I want to be very clear. This is if we go to the price match program, where this is not the fixed rate. So we're going down the price match. You have option 1 in the price match program, which is renewable energy, or you can say no renewable energy, and we'll take the $18,000 a month. And you can, in my opinion, I don't think Matt would argue with me, you can use that for environmentally friendly projects. So Oswego uses it, I forget what they ended up doing, but Lyle uses it for EV chargers. Norwich uses theirs for recycling bins. So you could, if there's a project like your bike, month project, if there's projects like there you want to fund, you could do that as well. And that's more of a locally, some people say that's more of a way to make the green energy more local.
That's only if we go into the price match program.
You have to go to the price match, and then you would not be able to create the 5% energy.
That doesn't seem very good.
Do you want to hear the argument for it, or like, well, Matt's environmental team just argued to take the civic payment because they wanted to make the renewable energy. They didn't like that the recs were from North Dakota, and they're like, how are we doing anything for Illinois? So they're doing a buyback program. If someone gets solar, then the village will give them, a payment back, a grant back. I don't know the right word. Or if someone removes a gas stove with an electric stove, someone gets an electric wind blower. So they're trying to do things like that, but that takes effort and work, and who's responsible for that? But there is an argument for it for very renewably friendly communities. And there's also people who just like the cash and have there's definitely those towns.
I mean, $18,000 could be put into a fund to help people with lead service lines.
There's no
Right,
restrictions
yeah.
to that.
It's 18,000 a month.
No,
a
18
year.
over.
So
It's
1,500 a
1,500
month.
per-
Yeah.
Per month. 1,500 per, okay.
Yep, 18. But it would be, if you did a 2-year deal, that would be 18 per year.
Commissioner Smith.
Commissioner says so. Okay, so then the other or, which was the 5% EPA green power
Yep.
community.
Yep.
Okay, so what,
That's just purchasing renewable energy, and that's just 5%. You guys
and that's
continue.
what's in North Dakota?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that's kind of what you're doing currently, except
Okay.
your percentage is 100% or really 50%, however you want to look at it.
And then that's a 5% savings off.
No savings.
Oh,
That
there
is
you
just, there is no program we can run that can save a resident a cent. I don't want to guarantee savings.
So this is just being maybe environmentally conscious
Correct.
choice, I guess.
And it would be more financially conscious for the residents.
Okay.
Questions?
Okay, any other questions for Adam? So I would envision that this would come back on our agenda since we have a limited time, so that we could make a recommendation, I would say probably next month.
Yeah,
We can't make a recommendation tonight, we don't have, I mean,
Okay.
everybody, yeah.
all right. Yeah, so I think we'll meet with the board in the month of June. So I think if you could have it before June, that would be my request.
Okay,
Or, or I don't think we need one. I'm just saying, I think a lot of times it goes a long way, because a lot of times
Yeah.
boards just look at us and go, well, what does the environmental team want? I'm like, I don't know. So this is
Right.
why the point of this
well,
conversation.
yeah, I think we made one recommendation and they decided to go with something else. And they've done that with No Mow May and,
Sure.
yeah.
But this is the sort of matter that we as a commission should have an opinion on.
Exactly,
Yeah.
you're right, you're absolutely correct, yes.
I think I gave everyone my card. Any help, doesn't have to be about this. If there's any energy questions that come up, don't feel like it, has to be about this, so.
And we've got you via Zoom, I know you came from the city, so I'm sorry.
Oh, that doesn't bother me at all. The big thing is my wife is pregnant and she's very close, so I have my alarm is on.
Oh,
in
yeah.
case- my-
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
She got to the doctor today, so I felt a little bit better. But I was a little bit like I might be calling in Bob. So anyway, any other things? Sorry, is there any other questions?
Traffic should be lighter for you.
You guys don't worry about me. It's part of the gig.
Oh, yeah.
It's all part of the gig. I'll always show up if I can. Right, so
You gotta feed that baby.
that's right. That's right. All right. Well, thank you all. I
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much.
Thanks so
Yes.
much, appreciate it. Okay, since I'll have a hand in preparing next month's agenda, I'll put it on the agenda and then, obviously, someone else will be chairing the meeting next month, because this is my last one. So,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna move on to item 5C, update on the presentation of the 2024 Green Champion Award. And the plaque has been ordered through Positive Impressions. It may have come in today, but it's definitely coming in tomorrow. We've reached out to Dave Gorman. He's gonna be here, some of his family members, and Carl Goldsmith, who's the Public Works Director for Lombard, said he wanted to be present as well. So it's officially on the agenda for Monday, and I'm going to introduce Ellen and Sandy, and they're gonna make the presentation to Dave Gorman. And he's very pleased about it, and his boss is coming, just to recognize him as well, because I guess he's retiring. this
Oh,
year
wow.
as well. So if any, I would encourage all of you to be there, be present. We had a nice picture. I envision sending something to the Villa Park Review as well. Commissioner Smith.
Commissioner. So just for my clarification, would that be at 6 or 7?
It's gonna be at 7.
At 7,
Yeah,
okay.
7 o'clock.
And then the committee of the whole meeting is normally what, at 6?
Yeah, I think they were going to see if they could reschedule the committee of the whole meeting.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we just need to show up at 7.
just at 7, yeah. Okay, and that's all I've got on Green Champion. Oh, I did respond to Rose Paving, and I asked them for input on coal tar versus asphaltic sealants, and they didn't respond. Nothing, there was nothing, so I don't know. Maybe they were miffed that they didn't get the award. Okay, I'm gonna move on to item 5D, lead service lines. I was hoping to have more. There was a significant discussion about lead service lines at the last village board meeting. I was not able to attend because I had a conflict. And the specific changes were not in the packet accessible to the public. So I don't know specifically what happened.
So this is Commissioner Smith. So myself, Commissioner Greco, and Commissioner Amore were in attendance, and Commissioner Amore actually had, you had a question too. So it was my understanding that is going to be voted on the next meeting. They
Okay.
wanted to allow more time, I guess, for questions from the public. And then the RFQ for the lead service line replacement program is still in the works, according to Director Guerrera. So I guess we don't have a representative here today. or-
Right, yeah, Vasily couldn't,
Okay,
he didn't tell me, I just got his away message,
Yeah,
so,
he's on vacation for
Huh?
He's on vacation for 2 weeks.
okay.
oh, okay. So that was pretty much the extent of it. It wasn't a really
Yeah, nothing's been decided
talk.
for
Right.
sure,
nothing,
really.
yeah. So they're
And
still
there-
kind of going back and forth to see who's going to pay for what, I guess the,
Right, and what percentage homeowners might be
percentage.
responsible for,
Yeah.
yeah, so, yeah. But one thing, it was Kevin Patrick, right, who very
oh.
adamantly asked that we have it on our agenda every month,
yeah, so.
just to track it
yeah,
and
so-
keep them on track.
So trustee and president-elect, right?
Yeah,
Kevin Patrick requested that lead service lines remain as a standing business item on our agenda, our monthly agenda for the foreseeable future, I guess, because this, this is a 10-year rollout, so, and, we still are trying to get things off the ground. So he just he wants us to stay in front of it.
is that something we need to like make a motion and create a standing agenda item, or do we just have to rely on ourselves to remember to do it?
You mean to keep, this is Commissioner Wagner, to keep lead service lines on our agenda?
Correct.
It's been on the agenda for the last several meetings.
For about a year now.
I'm happy to make sure it's on May's agenda,
Right.
yeah. We could certainly do that if you wanna make a motion to have it as a standing item on the agenda, we could do that. Just like the report of the Bike Pedestrian and Transit Subcommittee is kind of a standing item.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I
Um,
guess I don't have a main one.
Well, I guess I'll make the motion and then we can discuss it more. So I make a motion that we make the implementation of lead service line replacement a standing item on our agenda until we decide we don't need it anymore.
Okay, so motion by Commissioner Greco, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Smith.
Yeah.
Is there any discussion? Commissioner Leishman?
My only concern about this is a procedural one, or I guess a legal one. My understanding is that like the chair of the commission has broad authority to like set the agenda. Does this conflict with that?
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, if it's the will of the commission to say we want this as a standing item, then it's just automatically, I mean, I think there's a way in Civics Plus to make something a standing item, to have it consistently appear on the agenda. I don't know how to do that, but I could get advice on how to do that.
That's my only concern.
Okay. Okay, is there any further discussion on this? Okay,
Commissioner Smith, I just think it's important that we keep our foot on the gas regarding this particular issue, given, the importance to the community.
Right.
And also it's a regulatory requirement currently, so. And we are kind of behind some of our other, neighboring villages, so.
and this is Commissioner Wagner, and there was a new mandate that lead service lines be addressed, is it within 10 years?
Yes, yes.
Is that a state mandate?
It's a federal
That's a
mandate.
federal mandate,
Right, it's a
Yeah.
state mandate based on the federal mandate.
yeah.
So I think that even if a federal mandate were to change, the state mandate would keep it in effect, but that's just an opinion.
And so far, that is one thing that hasn't been touched yet, on the federal side, so. But I think in Illinois, they're still gonna continue to require this.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of making lead service lines updates a standing item on our agenda, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. All right, I'm gonna move on to item 5E, 2025 goal setting. And if it's okay with you, I can kind of start off for engagement. Commissioner Figueroa and I are kind of comprise that portion of it. We did have some developments and we kind of need to follow through. We met with
Right, we met with
Riley Pilar and Liz Scott. And Liz Scott she's a new employee and she handles HR, but she may have other duties. So we met with her and Riley and they gave us some things that they need, that we need to kind of follow through on. But they had talked to the manager, is my understanding, and they were good with us proceeding with a survey, an environmental survey. And we shared the
Yeah, I
Google
shared.
Doc, but there were some things that they wanted in addition
Yeah.
to that on there.
Which I added.
What's that?
Which I added already.
You did already, okay. And you sent it to them?
Yeah, they have like 24 hour access to it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I did have a conversation with Connie Holcomb from the Chicago Regional Tree Initiative. And I was kind of excited to get her call. She told me a lot of things that they could help us with. They did a urban forestry program in the village of Cicero, and she was mentioned something like that they could help us with grants, hosting a tree planting initiative, and she said that staff from the Chicago Regional Tree Initiative would be reaching out to us, but so far I haven't heard anything. So I probably need to follow up with her. The other thing that we kind of alluded to was reached out to Page County Forest Preserve and 2 Forest Preserve commissioners about the York High Ridge Forest Preserve. Their response was, and we copied Justine Briers, the Environmental Club sponsor, or what, I'm not sure what her title is. They said that there weren't any projects scheduled for York High Ridge, but there was a possibility of doing a cleanup there. And then Justine Briers responded, it's the end of the school year, it might be difficult to put that together. So,
Commissioner Figueroa, so I talked to, so I'm working with Sustain DuPage, which your wife Betty Amore, she helped me get in contact with Sustain DuPage. I'll be working with them as as head organizer for the DuPagers Organized for Sustainability. And so I mentioned the idea of the York Forest Ridge Forest Preserve, and they really liked the idea, and they said that they would be available to help in any way that they can. And so we don't necessarily, if we want to proceed with this project like as part of like our goals, we don't necessarily need like high school students or like students in general to volunteer, as they can provide volunteers through their organization. So if that's something that, you know, we could talk about, if you want to proceed with that project like over the summer, we can get in contact with Sustain DuPage and see how we can, you know, move forward with that and stuff. So
yeah, and we did Alexandra Bettini from the DuPage County Forest Preserve. She runs their volunteer program. She sounded like she was open to it, but they had nothing planned for York High Ridge. But I will tell you, there's a lot of buckthorn and other stuff in that forest preserve. So, the other thing I would mention was one of our goals was recycle coach. And that's moving forward. Actually, Riley had a meeting with Liz Kunkel, who works for Recycle Coach, and we're still onboarding with Recycle Coach. I have the app on my phone. I think it's beneficial, and it could help us promote all kinds of events. So we're not fully on board with it yet, but Liz did send me some information, a FAQ sheet, a QR with a QR code on it, so we could, when we table at events, when we're fully on board with the program, we can definitely promote Recycle Coach. I think it'll definitely help raise our percentage of recycling, increase recycling in the village. So that's, anything else you want to add, Commissioner Figueroa?
no.
Okay. Okay, so education. Anything you want to add as to our goals, as to your goals?
Oh, sorry, that's us.
Oh, that's us, yeah. And Molly, I think you had some information too. So, Mary Ann and I talked, so because I was out, ill for a bit, we are a little bit behind on some of our items, but we did talk to get back on track. I had brought up Open Lands. Open Lands is a not-for-profit, and their whole thing with conservation and sustainability and kind of gardening. So I do have a couple of contacts there, and I want to reach out to see if they would be willing to come, to Villa Park because it would be a ready-made program presentation, and we can always incorporate, others, but that would be kind of for time saving, and it's a quality program, but to see if that's something that they would be willing to do. So I'll get that email out, and I'll copy you because I'll email her tomorrow. So that was one thing. That was regarding our sustainable gardening program that we've now pushed back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but just because
Because
life.
of what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Molly is really interested in
Yes.
composting, which would fit right into the
Yes.
sustainable landscaping, so.
Molly, did you want to?
Well, I do want to talk to you guys because I spoke to Joy Rifkin, who's with our LRC,
LRS,
LRS.
Lakeshore Recycling, yeah.
And she's in charge of their sustainability. And
And I'm sorry, who is it?
her name is Joy Rifkin.
Joy Rifkin?
With Lakeshore Recycling.
Let me make sure I have
Okay,
her
right, I
name
know,
right.
yeah.
Um,
I had never heard of Joy.
yeah, she's
So our
their
contact is
sustain-
Katie Neary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
No, she is their sustainability director, I guess.
okay.
But, because we had talked last time, when the woman from the library was here, about possibly doing a program on composting, because I didn't think the word was really out, that we could actually just throw our food scraps into our pickup. But, so she said she would be willing to come out and speak. And then I went to a program with Bill Cargis at the library, and he is, very knowledgeable about everything. But
Yeah.
he's very into composting. He also would speak at a composting if we wanted to do one. And I don't know how that works. I'm just giving you an example or a
I
possibility.
think that's maybe we can swap that out for what we were going to do. As far as placeholder, we'll still do the gardening, but in the near term, if we wanted to do something for education, perhaps we could consider.
Right, LRS
Composting.
would, figure something out for that, yeah.
And one of the other women had said scarce, is that what it's called, might come out, but I have not talked to them.
Oh, that was interesting. There wouldn't be so much landscaping though as renewable, like
Yeah, this would
recycling.
be,
and-
it would just
Yeah.
be about composting in general. But I think Scarce also teaches how to compost. Did she say that at the last meeting? I thought she did.
That I don't know. It could be,
Something
but
like
I
that.
know of them more as reusing items, they
Right.
collect bottle caps
Yeah.
and
Right.
bread tabs and school supplies and, yeah.
And obviously it would be up to you guys because it's your committee thing. But if we did it in the fall, the timing's not great in the fall just because then we hit our time where we stop picking up yard waste.
Well,
But,
fall is when it starts.
well, we do it, that's when it's free. It starts
when
in the
it's
fall.
free,
That's when
yeah.
it's free. But then it stops in December, so then the composting would kind of fall away. But then I was thinking I could, maybe at some of the summer events, table about it. So maybe people would be like, wait, I didn't know that was even possible. And then they might see it, that you're having an event, and it might get some interest in it. I don't know, I haven't thought it through, but I would just love to get people to know that it's available. And it's hard for me to talk about it because I just started, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
You're being very clear. I mean, we do understand.
Yeah.
I like the idea of tabling, including it whenever we do table an event, including very specific information about LRS and they take food scraps and,
Right, and
yeah.
she sent me interesting, she sent me an email with things that they accept, and then I went on their website and that list was different. Cause normally composting is not meat and that kind of stuff, but they list it on their website as being okay in the food scraps.
That doesn't sound right.
No, that doesn't sound right. But then I also was looking through different towns and what they do, and was it Wheaton? Someone else had listed like meat and dairy and whatever. I'm like, I don't think that's right. I don't know enough about it, obviously.
It probably depends on
What they're doing with it or who's
who they're
taking it.
selling it to.
Right.
I suppose a commercial entity could handle the meat. They tell you not to do it in your home one because it attracts animals and the smell.
Otherwise,
And pathogens.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the
You have to, if you do want to compost like stuff that is not safe to eat, then you need to have quite a hot compost pile so it kills off any of the dangerous microbes.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
And since I don't actually have a compost, I'm trying to figure, I'm storing all my food scraps in my freezer and then I'm gonna put it out, in that paper bag, but I think now I'm gonna just do a garbage can that says yard waste on it. but still, it's weird when you're not actually composting, but I don't wanna throw it away.
Right, yeah, I got you, yeah. So that's,
It's an option.
but you're right, that is an interesting thing. How do people store their food for a week to put in that waste bag?
Right,
That,
right.
that, yeah, is a logistical thing that people
It
will
is.
wrestle with. People in apartments, where do they put their food scraps
Right.
until?
Can you buy bins for that though? Or like things that are engineered, and designed for,
They have a lot of different things you can buy
Compost,
for it, but
yeah.
if you're not gonna actually use like a turnable compost or
Mhm.
actual compost, they have little things you can have on your counter, but you know, it doesn't store that much stuff. I'm finding that I'm just keep gathering it in my freezer, and you know, you don't have a lot of room for that,
Yeah,
but.
yeah. Okay, so it's actually something to address
Okay, yeah,
when we
so-
include a composting element in an
so
event.
as Commissioner Smith, I've asked Molly for her contact information and then we can maybe follow up.
Yeah.
To get your suggestions of the contacts that you have and so that we can
That'd be great.
put it together. I think, well, we mentioned the library, but also sometimes the rec center.
Right, the rec
too.
center would be a good place
Yeah.
too.
Mhm.
So let's wait until after you've contacted,
Open lands.
Open Land, so we
Okay.
have more information about availability, and then we can put it all together.
All right, great.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, is that it for your report?
Yes, I believe so, right?
Okay, anything from advocacy?
Not really. I mean, we did Project Sidewalk a couple weeks ago, so we're gathering data about the safety of sidewalks in our community and also crosswalks. So that will probably indirectly impact our recommendations as to like what intersection and areas of our community particularly need to be improved on the infrastructure side. But besides that, you know, I'm the only member of the sub group here tonight, so
Okay,
that's all I've got.
okay, I'm gonna move on then, since we've had a report on our goal setting, I'm gonna move on to item 5F, update on planning for 2025 spring sweep. Our next planning meeting will be on Thursday, April 3rd. Pardon me?
May.
May, April 3rd, okay, right,
That would be Saturday.
2026, no, just kidding.
Saturday would be, so what, Saturday's the 3rd.
What's that?
Saturday is May 3rd.
Yeah, you're right, I think we're gonna meet,
The 8th, maybe?
I think we're gonna, well, I think, no, I think we're gonna meet May 1st. But let me double check on that. I'll,
I will be unable to attend.
and I think you said that at our last meeting. Okay, so all our vendors have confirmed, as I mentioned before. I did reach out to Mary, who's the acting chair of Community Focus on Unifying Neighbors, and they have not been to a meeting, but she did say that they were gonna put it on their next meeting agenda and that they would be sending some volunteers, so. We're, continuing to plan with Rich Salerno and to kind of implement some of the things that were recommended from last year. We do have 4 banners. There's one at the fence at Salt Creek Sanitary District. There's one at the fence by Iowa Community Center. There's one here at Village Hall. And then there's one at the Community Rec Building. I have to tell you that we did approve yard signs, but I haven't pulled the trigger on that yet. So I'm hoping to get a limited number of yard signs to promote spring sweep, but I haven't followed through on that. Anything you want to add, Commissioner Moore?
No, the last few planning meetings, everything was pretty much settled.
Right,
So this is just basically implementation, and it's
yeah.
less than a month away.
And I think we could probably find a place for that banner, which we just found.
Yeah. It's
The,
kind of subdued.
what's that?
It's kind of subdued.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So that's all I've got on spring sweep.
This is
Okay, I'm gonna
Commissioner,
move on to item-
Commissioner Smith.
Yeah.
For
Commissioner Smith.
springs, I just want to confirm the date was Saturday, May 10th?
No, well, the actual spring sweep
Yeah,
is gonna be Saturday, May 17th.
okay.
I was talking about our next planning meeting. We're just
Okay.
kind of tying up loose ends, and I'm pretty certain that we said it was gonna be, May 1st, because we've been meeting on a Thursday.
Mhm.
I'm pretty certain it's gonna be May 1st.
I'm not sure, because I was not gonna be here the 1st or the 8th, so it could be
Right,
either one.
right. I will follow up with Riley. I'll send out an email if folks want to attend. We're just kind of tying up loose ends, so. So question for Commissioner Figueroa. Do you, any possibility we could get some students from the environmental club to help out, or?
Maybe, when is spring sweep again? What
What's
day?
that?
What day is spring sweep again?
It's Saturday,
May 7th.
May 17th,
May 17th.
from 9 AM to noon.
Just so you know, graduation is the next day, so
Okay.
seniors probably won't.
Okay.
Maybe, I'll have to ask, but I can email you if there's students interested in
And
volunteering.
Riley has finalized the flyer, so I could send it to you as
Okay.
well.
And if there's, Commissioner Smith,
Yeah.
if there's also a flyer, I can hang that up in my community in
Okay.
Ovaltine to see if any of the residents might want to help out.
Okay, absolutely, great. And Molly, we appreciate your attending our meeting. I think this is the 3rd meeting you've been at. So we appreciate your attendance. If you would like to help out, we would certainly appreciate any help you could.
The first time I can finally volunteer, I'm out of town. But I do want to volunteer for the walking school bus.
Sounds
So
good.
put me on your.
I will. I've got your email.
Okay, great.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to our next item on our agenda. Item 5G, and it is the Arbor Day tree planting at Lufkin Park. That will be tomorrow at 11 AM. And we were given a choice of trees. There was a Cornus Cusa dogwood or a autumn blaze maple. And the reason they chose those is because they grow slowly, they're not overwhelming. So I consulted with the Arboretum, and they said both trees would be fine. They want to put it close to in proximity to the playground. And the only thing that the Arboretum mentioned is that the Cornus Cusa dogwood does produce fruit. But they said that the fruit tends to disappear quickly. I guess maybe birds or animals eat it.
Is
But
it
Is it poisonous?
is it human edible fruit?
it is human edible fruit.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and apparently it allegedly has some health benefits. I mean, all fruit has health benefits.
Yeah.
For the most part.
But I told them I'm okay with either one, but if a tree produces fruit, it could be messy if kids are playing, if it's close to the. So we're going with the autumn blaze maple.
Yeah, I think that, this is Commissioner Smith. I think that's a good idea because children might also eat it. You don't know if they have particular allergies. And then that could be a potential issue as well.
Yeah.
So
And you never know what effects fruit that you're not accustomed to could cause. So.
yes.
So, there will be a plaque put there to say that recognizing the Environmental Concerns Commission's support of Arbor Day. So I haven't been to Lufkin Park to see if they prepared us. If they usually dig it, we don't dig the hole.
Right, it's dark, so.
Yeah. Which can be kind of arduous work. We just kind of fill the hole with a few shovelfuls of, but it's a nice event.
Mhm.
It's a photo op. It is good promotion for the commission.
So,
Commissioner
Commissioner
Smith.
Smith, unfortunately, I have a work meeting at that time,
Okay.
and so I won't be able to attend.
I will be there.
Mhm.
I'm gonna hightail it from work, so.
Yeah, I'll be on a conference call at
Okay.
that time, yeah.
Okay, that's all I've got about Arbor Day. Okay, the next item on the agenda is 5H, participation in the Illinois Prairie Path and Great Western Trail cleanup. It's gonna be Saturday, April 26th, from 9 a.m. to noon. I plan on being there to promote Spring Sweep. I hope to pass out flyers and we have a site map of a Spring Sweep. I'm also hoping to distribute any leftover No Mow May yard signs. I have seen a number of them around town.
I saved mine from last year, doing my part.
I have done as well.
Me too.
And as Commissioner Leishman has said, it's kind of what did you say, it was a laissez-faire event. You kind of, they hand you a bag and you do your.
Yeah,
you do
you're
your
free.
thing.
You're free to choose any
Yeah.
and any dirty spot of town that you would like. To.
Right, exactly.
Who runs that?
Well, it's the
It's along the
Community
path,
Focus
right?
on Unifying Neighbors Commission. It's actually a county-wide event. There's a board that runs the Illinois Prairie Path, and there's another group that's part of the Great Western Trail, so they hand out the bags, essentially, and gloves. Commissioner Moore.
Commissioner Maury, so again, what was the time? and
From 9 a.m. to
location?
noon,
And so where are we meeting at?
at the Historical Museum.
Okay,
Oh.
so it's 9 a.m.
Right outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's where it usually is, but I just want to make sure.
exactly, right. And then people just disperse from there.
Yeah, my normal strategy is to ride my bicycle. So most people are walking on foot. I normally bring my bicycle so I can go out to the westernmost edges of those trails and then start working back.
Now, are we including the tri-trail?
Well, you can go on the Greenway Trail as far as, I mean, you can walk all the way up to Elk Grove Village if you want.
Yeah, right. Well, no, I think,
It's
look,
actually
stay in Villa
Bussy
Park.
Woods.
Yeah, you're right, exactly. Or you can go to the Brookfield.
Yeah.
south.
Depends which direction you want to go.
How big a bag do they give you?
Yeah, depends how ambitious you want to get. Yeah, make sure you let Public Works know where they're at. So, okay, that's all I've got on the cleanup. I'm going to move on to approval of spending.
I motion we approve spending.
Pardon me?
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I was
So we
jumping the
kind of,
gun.
we put this on the agenda amended the agenda to talk about it. So I just want to let you know that we received four banners. They will accommodate a change of date with Velcro. The cost for the four banners total is $473.50. So, we wanted to kind of do this properly, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the spending of $473.50 for the banners. This would come out of our budget.
Commissioner Smith? So I make a motion to approve $473.50 for the purchase of
Four
banners
banners.
for this spring sweep
Okay.
2025.
Okay, is there a second?
Commissioner Mori, second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, the next item is for the Arbor Day tree, and Mike Werris said that the cost of the tree was $250. I don't have a cost for the plaque, but the cost of the tree will come out of our budget as well. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the spending of $250 for the tree that will be planted for Arbor Day. Commissioner Leishman.
I move that we authorize the spending of $250 to purchase an autumn blaze maple for celebration of Arbor Day 2025.
Okay, is there a second? Second by
Yeah, Commissioner Smith seconds.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The next item is for the Green Champion plaque. And for those of you who don't know, we use, the plaque is made from reclaimed wood. And I went through Positive Impressions again, and it's a little bit pricier this year. The plaque is gonna cost $145. So, I think it's a nice touch. It's rather expensive. We may wanna revisit this again next year to see if we wanna find a different source.
This is a plaque that goes on the tree? Or-
No, this
oh,
is for the
Green
Green Champion.
Champions, I'm sorry, yeah, okay,
Yeah, this is, so we're gonna give this,
We jumped ahead to that.
we're gonna
okay.
give this plaque
Yeah.
to Dave Gorman.
In about a
And,
week.
Yeah, well, yeah, so, I mean, I think we have to today, but yeah, revisit and maybe find a less expensive
a
option.
less expensive option. I mean, we don't have to go with
No, the next.
something that's made with with
It's
reclaimed
coming up.
wood. So, Commissioner Leishman.
28.
I move that we authorize the spending of
believe so.
$145 to purchase a wood plaque for
Okay,
the Green Champion Award.
okay. Is there a second? Second by
Commissioner Smith seconds.
Okay, is there any discussion? Commissioner Leishman.
I just lost my train of thought. What was I gonna say?
The train left the station.
The train left the station.
Yes,
Okay, let him think.
it's gone. It couldn't have been that important.
Okay.
I will mention that we gave this award to, one year we gave it to Salt Creek Sanitary District and to then State Representative Deb Conroy. And I will tell you that the district proudly displays their plaque as you walk into the office section. So it's prominently displayed there. So, Commissioner
I
Leishman.
remembered my question. You have an actual quote of the $145.
That's
right?
exactly the amount, yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we weren't going to shortchange you
No,
a
no,
couple bucks if the price changes.
no, that's the exact price.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, is there any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying, Commissioner Warren.
No, I just wanted to just add the item. It's item 7A on Monday's agenda, the 28th.
Oh, it's item 7A?
Okay.
Okay. I hadn't seen the agenda, but they assured me we were on the agenda.
Yes.
Boy, 7, that's deep in.
I'm sorry, say again?
That's a long way into the meeting.
That's, yeah.
Really?
7? He said 7.
Yes,
Item
7A.
That is a long way.
Well, there's a
There's a prayer.
there's a few other items.
Yeah, some short,
There's
quick
consent
prayers.
agenda, there's other things.
There's 5 proclamations right in front of it.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
And of course, they'll all be read.
Yes.
5 proclamations. Wow.
Busy day.
I believe, is this the May meeting is when the new board is seated, right? The new
Yeah,
president?
May 12th is,
May 12th.
is when they seat the new board. And there's actually a reception at Sugar Creek Golf
Right.
Course. We're getting a far afield here, we're good to.
Right, let's finish the
Digressing, but-
agenda.
Yeah.
The,
So any
Expense.
further discussion on the Green Champion plaque? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna move on to item 5J, which is a letter of support for Salt Creek Sanitary District's Phase 7 project. I don't know if I did send an email out, just probably at the beginning of the meeting. If you wanna see a sample letter, the DePage River Salt Creek Work Group sent a letter of support, and I can pull it up. That letter is rather long. Let's see here. Letter of support, okay, here it is. And the letter is addressed to Sean Caston. I'm not gonna read this letter, but it just says, yeah, it's several paragraphs long. It just says, lastly, the Salt Creek Sanitary District is a leader in investing in the aquatic health in the Salt Creek and DuPage River watersheds by consistently exceeding wastewater performance goals and also contributing to waterway improvement projects, including dam removals and habitat improvement. The district has shown it's determined to meet the objectives of the Clean Water Act. We urge your support of its grant request.
And it looks like, oh, go ahead, Ellen. yeah,
So we
raise his
could,
hand.
we could technically borrow some verbiage from Page River Salt Creek Work Group. We could just say that we simply support the efforts to have the efficiency, increase the efficiency of the district and, yeah, Commissioner Leishman.
So, my understanding was that, based on your comments earlier, that the previous earmark that we had for
Community funding project.
community funding project, artist formerly known as earmark, that we had received for this, that has gone by the wayside.
Right, apparently the opportunity with the, I don't know what Congress we're in, but anyways, that opportunity went by the wayside. So they're renewing this request.
Okay,
So
so we're
Congressman Casson is going to request funding, a community funding project again, and the letter of support will add support to the efforts to get this.
did we write a letter of support for this last time around?
We did
Okay.
send a letter of support,
Okay.
yeah. And I could try and find that letter.
Well, I would move that we authorize the committee chair to have the authority to draft a letter in support of this initiative and send it to the Salt Creek Sanitary District.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right, is there any discussion?
I would support it also based on the fact that it directly benefits us in our community.
I-
It is a direct benefit to our community,
Exactly.
and there's no reason not to support it.
Okay, seeing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, I will draft a letter and I'll send it out to the commission, just to let you know. And I'm gonna keep it simple, I'm just not, I'm not gonna be as detailed as they were here with that I think, Stephen McCracken drafted this letter, so.
Point of clarity, my motion was to give you the authority to send the letter
Okay,
without further approval from
Okay.
from the board.
Yeah.
okay,
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, I would like to see it after as well. But,
Absolutely,
But you
yeah.
don't need to run it before the board again to.
Yeah.
no, but I'll send it, but I'll send it, after I send it, I'll send the copy.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to public comments on non-agenda items.
Can I say something about, or it's actually a question about what Adam was talking, Adam? Is that his
Adam
name?
Hoover, yeah.
Yes. So it kind of seemed like a big deal when he said Villa Park was like 3rd in the state and 17th in the country, right? That seems huge. Is that the kind of thing that you guys could get a story written about or something?
say it again?
Is that something that you guys could get like a story in the Villa Park Review about? I mean, that could get some people hyped up. You know what I mean?
Good idea.
Actually, yeah.
Well, actually, this is Commissioner Mori. Because there was so much confusion about the last time around, I would hope that he would use that as an example of how the benefit is when he wants to bring it to the attention of the community when it comes back around again.
Yeah, I think it could. It would make people think like this is something I want to be a part of if I did opt out before. I may want to opt back into it. It's pretty impressive numbers.
Yeah, so this is Commissioner Wagner, so, Manager Harline, who has also talked with Adam Hoover, there was some discussion about creating a sign that would, that, where we have, for example, on St. Charles Road. I don't know where that ever went, because there was some, hey, we can blow our own horn, we're committed to renewable energy, and this is what we did. But I don't know but Manager Harline was talking about doing that, but I don't know whatever happened.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great idea. And remember when Villa Park was like number 8 to places to
There's a
live or
plaque
something?
right
there. Oh,
Everybody was
yeah.
talking about that.
Right on the wall.
Jan.
Well, and
Yeah,
plus
I
it
know.
would have been nice to have on Earth Day, which we
True.
just missed.
So who would do that kind of thing, try to get that in the paper?
I would say our communication specialist, Riley Pilar, could do that. I mean, I could send her this PowerPoint if she doesn't already have it. The PowerPoint that Adam sent us, Commissioner Smith.
Yeah, I also suggest, in addition to the newspaper, that also our social media.
Right.
Yeah, that's big.
Mm-hmm. And great idea, Molly. Yeah.
So
Commissioner Moore.
circling back, I didn't want to take up our meeting time with adding into his presentation when he was here. But when he was forecasting a huge rate increase coming down the
In
road
June, he said.
later on this year, I get the amount of power that these data centers use. And these data centers are becoming more and more prevalent. And it almost seems like it's a civic thing where they want to bring them in to the Chicagoland area. And it's going to create a real problem because of the amount of water that it's going to take to cool it. So I'm kind of a little bit want to hold back on promoting it too much because we also want to conserve our water assets.
I'm sorry, what does that have to do with electrical aggregation?
Well, because the fact, I always wary when somebody's promoting something that, that is detail oriented, that I don't understand, I wanna learn more about it. And when they're talking about ComEd rate increases coming in the near future, and there doesn't seem to be an offsets for that increase that's coming. I'm not seeing any huge savings from the rate increases are coming, otherwise they would be promoting that. In other words, if we're locking into a rate for the next 5 years and ComEd comes up with this giant rate, they always have backdoor ways of hitting the rate. They can give it into a different way of, like a delivery charge or something like that. So without a thorough understanding of it, I really don't want to get on the bandwagon too loudly for this.
Or to encourage people to stay in the program.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
That's kind of my concern. I would.
So I'm gonna jump in here. We are on public comment,
Right.
non-agenda items, so we're
Well, I'm
kind of.
following up on the comment.
Right, I know, and I kind of, we're digressing a little bit,
Right.
and it's getting late, so I just wanna be respectful of everybody's
Oh,
time.
of course, and
Yeah.
I'm just saying that in the future, when we discuss this again,
Okay,
I would prefer to have more information.
yeah, and we'll, this'll be on the agenda next month,
Okay.
so, that'll be on the agenda next month, so. Okay, Molly, anything further from you?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna move on to commissioner comments. Commissioner Leishman,
No comments.
okay, Commissioner Smith,
No comments at this time.
okay, Commissioner Figueroa.
One thing, after we're done with this meeting, can we take a group photo? Because I'm working on a project for my environmental class and it's called the Activism Project. And so basically I had to take a bunch of photos on how I advocate for the environment. And so this is one of them. So whoever wants to take a group photo after we're adjourned.
We're happy to take a photo with you.
Yeah.
I can do the
We can
photography.
stage the
thinking about
flags
Yes.
nicely and we can take a nice
Go
photo.
unroll
I
the
was trying
banner.
to,
Maybe.
I was trying to think of something to represent issues, like maybe holding up the newspaper about the biking bills or.
Or the banner,
Yeah.
you mentioned.
Oh,
spelling.
yeah,
The
the
banner.
spring sweep banner, that's the perfect, we can all hold it, perfect, okay,
There you go.
thank you.
Great. That's all.
Okay, Commissioner Moore.
One item, last month I had made a comment about scarce, no longer taking pill bottles, okay? And I just wanted to clarify something. They are taking them, but they're only taking them from preferred sources.
Okay.
And the reason is because it's very labor intensive to get all the glue off for to suit their needs. Like, for example, this bottle, they won't take this bottle because there's the little tiny bit of foil around the ring that's left over from when it was sealed at the vendor. So they have a certain few preferred sources that they accept from these bottles, only because the people who are giving them to them know what's expected. So
Thank you.
that's all I got to say.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Commissioner Greco.
Yeah, so I was having a conversation with someone that I work with, and he had no idea that No Mow May was about the pollinators. He thought it was just something to do with the grass being long. And I thought that was very interesting that he knew so little about it when it is such a big deal. So I wanted to especially bring it to the attention of the Education Committee, but.
With Commissioner Smith, I can be candid. I also thought it was about not having your, I thought it was more about just.
Oh, like maybe saving mowing energy or something,
not
or
that. What is it? Like greenhouse gases and not have, when people have their grass powered lawnmowers and so not. That's what I thought it was mainly about. I didn't really initially when I heard about it.
right? Interesting. Okay. So
I
yeah,
didn't think about pollinators.
yeah. So maybe when I don't know, but just wanted to throw it out there and think about ways to educate the public about that. I'm done.
Okay. I'll just be very quick. Last weekend, I participated in Stream Sweep, which is run by the Conservation Foundation. And I went to, well, the staging area was Cricket Creek Cricket Creek Forest Preserve. And there were 42 people there,
Wow.
Nice.
which is the largest number
Wow.
of people we've ever had. And I went to the area around the former Odium, because it is
Yeah.
ringed by the Forest Preserve property, and it's kind of bad. I did take some photos. I have the email for the folks that run the facility, and I'm gonna reach out to them and say, here are these photos. What can you do to educate these truck drivers not to throw stuff down the stream bank? So. And I also participated in an Illinois River Watch program that was on April 13th. It was held at the Urban Streams Research Center, and it's the first 4 hours is identifying macroinvertebrates, and the second half of the day we were in the Springbrook Creek.
Wow.
And we were using dip nets, and it's just amazing when you disturb the bottom, what you find, what you collect. Caddis flies and worms and other macroinvertebrates. And I didn't even know that, for example, like caddis flies actually have gills so that they can live underwater. So it's pretty cool. So I'm going to be doing a stream monitoring project. I'm hoping that the district will let me do south of the plant to see, but that's still up for discussion, so. And that concludes my report. We don't have a village board liaison, no staff present, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Commissioner Smith? Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, is your second?
I'll second.
Thanks.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. You're adjourned.
To turn it on.